All right, good evening. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Hampton Township Council for Wednesday, November 20th, and we will start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Blackburn? Present.
Ms. Fritsch?
Present.
Mr. Midgley?
Present.
Mr. Schuley?
Present.
Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Speakman?
Present.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, and the agenda meeting held Wednesday, November 6th, 2024?
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, citizens' agenda matters. If anyone has anything that they would like to address to council, please step to the microphone and state your name, address, and your concern. All right. Moving on to administration then.
Yes, I'm seeking authorization to request for proposal for the 2025 tax and revenue anticipation note in the amount of $1.5 million. We've done this on an annual basis. We have a large debt service payment due in January. This helps to cover that cost. This is the same amount we've solicited in 2024. We have a list of 8 financial institutions that we'll be sending the RFP to. Historically, our depository is always a little bitter, but that's not a guarantee, so.
Does anyone have any questions about this item? All right, then can I get a motion to authorize the manager to request RFPs for the 2025 tax and revenue anticipation note in the amount of $1.5 million?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. Next item, please.
Yes, the controller and I are recommending the transfer of up to $500,000 from the 2024 general fund operating budget to the capital improvement fund budget. This is based on projections we have through the end of the year that we may have a surplus slightly in this amount or slightly in excess of this amount. These funds would be used to pay for basically our capital program for next year, supplement that funding. We would not be making the transfer until, this would just be authorization. We would not make the transfer until the end of the year based on, revenue over expense, what we're anticipating. Mr. Speakman, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that. It's based on your projections.
If we do not have that amount, we won't move that amount. We will move enough to be at a balanced budget so that we aren't negative.
Yeah.
So is it up to 500,000?
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
whatever above
Or
that
not
will-
to
will
exceed,
stay in
whatever you wanna
the
say.
general fund.
All right, any questions about this item? All right, then can I get a motion to authorize the transfer of up to $500,000 from the 2024 general fund operating budget to the capital improvement budget?
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, next item is the North Hills Council of Government report. However, our meeting is tomorrow evening, so I will defer to the manager if he has anything he would like to bring up.
Yeah, the COG is going to have a COG-wide public hearing on the Verizon Cable Franchise Agreement on Thursday, December 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. People can attend. It's going to be via Zoom as well. If anyone wants to attend, we'll put the notice out once we receive it.
That was Thursday,
December
December 12th.
12th. Yeah, 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I imagine I'll learn more about that tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, Water Authority monthly report. Anything to add or any questions? All right, Engineers monthly report. Anything to add or any questions?
Nothing to add.
Legal Counsel monthly report.
I have nothing to add unless there are questions.
And Controller's monthly report.
Given the extensive amount of time we have spent together recently, I have nothing to add unless you have any questions.
Does not appear anyone
No.
has any. Thank you. Information technology monthly report.
I have nothing to add.
All right, library report. The only thing that I want to mention is that the library will be staying open during our holiday Santa Sparktacular event as a quiet place for any families that might need it. Anything else for admin?
No.
All right, moving on to public safety then, please.
I'm going to go with the I have nothing to add and keep that motion going.
Keep going.
Seems to be the popular response to that.
Any questions? All right, EMS monthly report.
I'm going to break the trend. Yes, you will. I always appreciate the opportunity to say a few words, so thank you for that. So you have our monthly data report in front of you. For the month, we did 151 calls. That was an increase of 33 compared to the previous October. Year-to-date, we were 1,404 calls in Hampton Township, an increase of 109 over the previous year. For the month, for the service, we did 556 calls, an increase of 12. Year-to-date, 5,561 calls, an increase of 220. That's about half of that increase is in the transport, non-emergency side of the business, and half is on the emergency side of the business. A lot of it in Hampton, as you just saw. There's nothing else to note in here. I do want to talk about the last page a little bit. I've traditionally reported our response times for E0 and E1 calls. There's really a focus within our industry of not focusing on response times for most calls. That is a safety issue, perceived safety issue. The biggest risk time we have is responding to calls with lights and sirens and responding to hospitals with lights and sirens. So we do use lights and sirens on all E0 and E1 calls. It is assumed, unless we identify a problem, that we're always going at a safe rate and being aware of safety, but to focus on it publicly is not something the industry advocates. So we're going to change it to reporting our response times will reflect from the time we are alerted until the time we're out the door. That's the time we can affect, and that's the time we can affect safely. So we're going to change the times we do report. We'll certainly keep an eye on things, as we do with everything, and look for any trends, one-offs, those kind of things as we do monthly reporting. But I just kind of want to let you know that we're doing that and the thought process behind it. And that's it for the data, unless there's any particular questions about anything you saw there.
Can I just confirm my understanding? So what we have in front of us now is call comes in until you arrive.
Until we get to the patient's side, correct.
And now we're going to switch to from the time the call comes in until the time you leave.
Pull out the door.
Okay.
Yep. And we have standards for that based on
Okay.
the priority of the call, the time of the day.
Yeah, I'm not questioning. I just wanted to make sure
Sure. And
that I heard what I thought I heard.
That's exactly correct.
Okay.
Yep. So, and you'll see that next month, and we'll be able to talk about it with any questions then as well.
Will you still show both, or
No.
you'll just
No.
show just that one? Okay.
That's correct, just the response times. And we'll break it down again by call priority and those kind of things. Okay. Just a couple of updates then. We did, it's reinstituted, it's the first time since I've been here that we've done a business fund drive to all the businesses in 3 communities we serve. That's out, we started to get returns from it. We'll work on that process of, this time we purchased the mailing list. We've heard from some folks that got it that aren't businesses, those kind of things, so we'll hone that for future years. We initially were going to do one mailing and done. We are going to do a reminder mailing with postcard with 2 things. Number one, a reminder of the process, the request for donations, but also to emphasize we're building a new AED database for the communities we serve, and that's going to be up and ready for prime time by then. So it's going to ask the businesses to participate who have AEDs registered, and we'll in turn send them reminders on a quarterly, semi-annual basis to check the devices, what to look for, all those kind of things. So that's going on with that. New ambulances, I know that it's that time of year that people are thinking about what gifts they want to get. For us, hopefully on December 16th is 2 new ambulances. Those are ordered, as some of you may recall, we've talked about in June of 2022. So we're more than a little excited for that to happen, especially with the loss of one that I believe we talked about last month. We had a Duquesne Light power pole, so we did, I think. And we finally got a quote on that last night, and it's $80,000 in damage to the ambulance. It also is one we're getting rid of, so we're not going to be repairing it, but we'll work through the Duquesne Light insurance company about that. So that's hopeful, and hopefully they'll be in service in time for Christmas. Talked about the times already, and then lastly, I just want to thank the township and all of you for finding some additional space for us in the township building. Our quarters were pretty tight over there for the time that we spend there. identified some space for us, and I'm grateful for that. Our crews are grateful for that. And, you know, I know we're not doing that tomorrow, but we look forward to the time we do as the budget dollars come available and those kind of things. So thank you very much for that. And then lastly, I just want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the 5th at the Santa Spectacular. All right, any questions?
Just real quick, so you started out by talking about some increases year over year. Is there any in particular area that we're seeing more responses to? Is it car accidents? Is it home injuries? Is it just random across the board because there's more people around?
I'd have to look at that. I mean, certainly in all the communities we serve, we're primarily residential. You know, that's just a fact of life. We have seen some really bad car accidents in the last several days, and it's not the time of the year we see that. It's usually a summer thing. It is really an unpredictable thing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't see much change month to month, year to year. You know, where we've seen the increase in our volume is because we have the transport vehicle, you know, to support the business. And but I'll tell you this: I'll take a better look and kind of some different angles, and I'll share it with you next month.
Yeah, I'm just curious if there's something
Yeah.
we can do to help.
You guys already do lots to help, and I mean that very sincerely. So,
Tell people to quit getting old and feeble.
well, the alternative to
If
that
that's
is
the
not
case-
really good, Jerry. Stop thinking about it.
I don't know if we can help
I
that
prefer
one.
to get old.
The feeble part.
Well, no doubt. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
you.
Eric. All right, Chief, anything else to add for public safety?
I have nothing.
All right, community services then, please.
Good evening, everybody. As per my memo of October 31st, I'm requesting the award of contracts for calcium chloride, liquid calcium chloride, and snowplow blades through the SHACOG Purchasing Alliance.
Did anyone have any questions about this? All right, then can I get a motion to award contracts to the SHACOG Fall Commodities Purchasing Program per the Assistant Township Manager's memo dated October 31st, 2024. 24. I wrote 2025 in my notes.
So
24.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Shirley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor?
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
Thank you.
Anything to add for the monthly report?
Other than our crew and trucks are ready for any type of winter conditions, maybe a little salt being used, but
Preemptive.
other than that, I have nothing to add.
All right, environmental services, please.
Thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Horvath.
Good evening, everybody.
Nice to see you again.
Good evening.
See you too. The first item is the manager and I are requesting award of contracts. I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm reading the wrong line. The manager and I are recommending approval of the change orders for KLH Engineers and Calista Electric regarding our SCADA upgrades.
Did anyone have any questions about the change orders? It's one we've been talking about for quite some time.
And one addition, I know you all got an email from me on it. It was Mr. Lochner's idea, and I talked with Mr. Horvath about it, and he agreed it was a good idea. The total value of both change orders is about $444,000. We're requesting approval of the change orders for KLH and Calista for the SCADA upgrades. Total project cost not to exceed $500,000. This is due to the age of, I mean, you all saw the video that Mr. Degnan shot. The age of some of those components in those pump stations is, there may be issues that come up. And actually, I believe, Jim, you told me already that there was an issue that came up with regard to a generator at the Oaks pump station, so.
Correct. We're having some electrical issues that we were unaware of before due to when the generator's running. So some of these components are many decades old, and the concern is we're going to be running into some additional problems, we're afraid.
Yeah, so as opposed to us coming back to you for another change order beyond the $444,000, we would just do not to exceed 500, and I will make you the promise that when the project is done, I will report on whatever the total project cost was. Mr. Controller, you do not look happy.
I would just say we need, at a point in time, we need final change orders so that the contract and the change orders that get applied to the contract and the total amount
Yes.
reconcile.
Yeah, that's fine, we can just
Yeah.
update, whether it's a follow-up or
And
whatever. we're gonna do.
generators aren't part of SCADA.
Correct.
Okay.
They're not, they're not part of SCADA, but one of the goals that Jim identified kind of after we'd already looked at it was to integrate like, whether or not the generators were running into their alarm system.
Yeah.
And one of the questions we had was a lot of those generators have been in place for quite some time. We're not really even sure if that capability exists yet.
Yep.
So that was one of the things we kind of we identified before we even brought this to you. On our side, we built an equipment contingency into what we did already. This would be above and beyond that. You know, our proposal, I think we used a 15% contingency.
Yes.
Based upon our experience with, you know, everybody thinks it's a controls issue or an aging controls issue. You replace the controls and things still don't work. And then you start chasing problems. And that's kind of what we've seen in the past. And my guys kind of pushed for that. And Jim and Ryan agreed it was a good approach. This just gives us that much more. I think this is more on the Calista side of things.
Yes.
Than it is for us. I think we're pretty well covered, but I agree 100%. It's not an issue at all. Keep track of it and then reconcile it at the end.
Say the John Deere tractor that's sitting inside one of the pump stations can't talk electronically to modern world.
Unfortunately, no. I might be able to. Nobody's tried
We'll
yet.
find out.
And our initial thoughts were this project would be in the neighborhood of $500,000.
Right.
So it's not sort of beyond what we had built into the anticipated budget for
Right.
this change order. But
All right, any additional questions? Any additional comments?
What's those questions?
All right, then can I get a motion to approve the change orders for KLH Engineers and Calista Electrical regarding the SCADA upgrades not to exceed $500,000 per the manager's email dated November 18th?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
Thank you. Next item.
yes.
Okay to defer.
Right now, as everyone's aware, we have a contract with Vogel Disposal to haul sludge at our wastewater treatment plant. That contract, which was bid in 2022, expires in February of 2025. We're hoping to do a 2-year extension through the end of February 2027. The reason for that is we currently are producing we are producing sludge manually, but we haven't produced sludge for several months, and we have no idea with the new treatment plant how much sludge we'll produce. So we really have no basis for pursuing a bid on this publicly. 2 years would give us enough time to bid this out properly in the future. And I mean, the last time we bid this too, the only bid we got was Vogel. So I'm not certain that there's really much of a market out there beyond our current hauler. So with that, Jim and I are recommending, Mr. Degnan and I are recommending extension of our existing contract with Vogel Disposal for sludge hauling for a period of 2 years until February 28th, 2027, with the addition of grid hauling to the contract to take effect immediately.
I just have one quick question. You phrased it, you're hoping to extend the contract. Vogel has agreed to extend the
Yes,
contract, correct?
they have,
Okay.
they have issued a proposal. The cost, in year one, the contract would go up 4%.
That's right.
In year two, it would go up 3%.
The hope was from our side.
The hope is, yes, the hope is that I can get you all to
Sure of
agree.
that.
The hope is I can get you all to agree with me on this. That's the hope.
The wording just caught my attention.
Yes, sorry.
All right, any other questions? All right, then can I get a motion to extend the existing sludge hauling contract with Vogel Disposal Service per the director and the manager's recommendation until February 28, 2027, per the memo dated 10/31/24?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
Thank you. Beyond my monthly report, I have nothing else to add unless there are questions.
Doesn't seem like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have video to share.
All righty.
So this was day before yesterday, I believe.
When our weather was still somewhat nice.
Right.
So left side of your screen, you can see the square structure. That's the new office building coming into shape. The garage will extend further towards the sludge press building there, once the sludge press is out of service. You can see the demolition continuing for the old plant there. Both digesters now have been erected, so both steel tanks with the domes are up. On the right side, you can kind of start seeing the flood wall starting to come to shape. Now they're gonna turn around and head back here. Maybe. There he goes. We got a new toy, so we've been toying with it. Took me a little while to put all these together, so again, you can see the demolition on the left side of the screen, the digesters. That's a little bit better shot of the office building, or what will be the office building. And again, they're filling that up. The building will come up out of that spot. That'll all be raised to flood elevation. And then I got a couple stills that'll kind of help to see some of this stuff. Yeah, so on the left side of the screen, you can see the flood wall. You can see the two digesters, kind of the circular structures in the middle. And they made some pretty good progress. I think they have one more ring to assemble, so that the digester to the top will come up one more ring before it's complete.
That was actually completed today.
Was it completed today? Great. Next picture. Again, better shot of the flood wall kind of coming into effect into shape on the left side. Now that'll continue it'll continue right across where the head wall is. For the outfall, you can see the outfall at the bottom of the screen, little curved stone structure. The flood wall will come right alongside that, and it'll continue down towards the bottom right of the screen. It'll go like kind of into the ground, it'll disappear into the ground and the neighbor's property. And finally, there's another shot of the progress on the office building. They're still optimistic that we're going to have block up and have that structure up and under by the end of the year. So we'll see.
They see the weather forecast?
What's that?
They see the weather forecast?
They did. That's why they want to get it up and under by the end of the year. They really want to be working inside.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they're really hoping they can. Again, we're kind of getting to the point now where there's less and less for Mealy to do, and more for subcontractors. So it's gonna that balance between Mealy's crews and their subcontractors is gonna really kind of start shifting here in the coming months. So, yes, sir. You have a question? I think I say something. So yeah, that's where we are right now. We haven't had because of this change in the schedule, our construction progress meeting is next week. So I'm interested in seeing how that one kind of goes.
Flood wall at 100 or 500 years?
The flood wall is at 100.
Correct.
And then the buildings are protected at 5.
Ground level throughout the entire campus is at 100. And in terms of the buildings for all critical infrastructure is at 500.
Questions? That's all I have.
Rob, do you want to mention the exhaust fan?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Progress on the noise complaint and the noise issue at the Headworks building. We identified the solution we want to pursue for that. It's a diffuser that sits on top of the exhaust fan. It weighs about 600 or 700 pounds. So we requested specifics on how they want to mount that and how they want to anchor it. Our assumption is that's not going to just sit on top of that exhaust fan as heavy as it is. They have a solution. They're supposed to meet out there tomorrow or Friday to just kind of review it. Unfortunately, I didn't have pricing for this meeting. I believe the diffuser itself is somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000. There'll be some additional piece for that support and then the labor to install it. But we've made it clear that this is a priority. We need to get it going. Unfortunately, Mealy's working with a subcontractor who doesn't share our sense of urgency. So my hope is that we have something here settled up next week. Ryan's asked us to push to try to get that in place for you for approval at next month's meeting. But we've also been given the direction to not wait, and as soon as we have a right solution, I'll discuss it with Ryan and Jim, and we'll proceed. So it took us a little while to decide and come to a consensus that what we were doing was going to sufficiently solve the problem. I'm comfortable with where we are now. So.
And we're anticipating about 4 to 5 change orders at next month's meeting.
Yeah, we have several small items that have kind of built up, and kind of pull them all together and get them in front of you. And then the next two big ones after that we'll have to look at big in the context of, generally speaking. We have the backfill due to the groundwater issue in all our structures that we're still debating to some extent. But I've had a call from Mealy about 3 times today. I think that's what it's about. So we're going to come to a consensus here on that one pretty quick too. And then the paving, extension of paving up Toner Avenue, and some adjustment to the depth of paving on the site.
Yeah.
So those are the other two big ones that'll come in the next. I wouldn't expect those. That probably won't be next month. It'll probably be early part of next year.
All right.
That's all I have.
Anyone have any questions? All right, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
All right, anything else for environmental services?
Nothing else? Thank you.
All right, zoning and planning, please.
Okay, as discussed at the last meeting, I'm asking that you table the Fry Cane Pioneer Place final PRD through December 18th. Just a general note, we did receive revised plans.
All right, anyone have any questions? Can I get a motion to table the Fray Cane Pioneer Place Final Planned Residential Development Application 24-06 to the December 18 council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Shuley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
Okay, and then kind of an 11th hour here, change on this next one. We did get a letter back from Gateway today. So Joe Seitz is recommending a partial release of the E&S controls and excavation bonding amounts. So that letter was sent to Gateway, that letter was sent to you all today before the meeting. So the amount that they are recommending, $229,253.86. That would leave approximately, well, it's 90% of the bonded amount for each plus an additional 10% contingency. So it would leave about $25,000 in there just for those two categories.
All right, sorry, that was 229,000.
$253.86.
I wrote it down and then couldn't read my writing. All right, anyone have any questions related to this item? All right, then can I get a motion to authorize the release of funds in the amount of $229,253.86 from the improvement security for the four-season final subdivision land development plan, application 24-04.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Shuley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
Okay, that's all I have tonight unless there are any questions.
Doesn't seem like it. Thank you. All right, old business.
You did mention the Santa Sparktacular holiday event on Thursday, December 5th from 7 to 9 at the community center, so.
I am so curious who came up with that name.
Certainly
Given
not
that
me.
The Light Up Night was trademarked by the city of Pittsburgh, right? Is that
That's-
Melanie? Wait, who came up with
Bernard.
this?
It's Melanie or Matt, I would
Yeah.
think.
It's cute.
Love it.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is.
It captures it perfectly. It's great.
Mhm.
And then we also have the Santa holiday tour on the 14th, correct?
Yes.
All right, anyone have anything they'd like to add for old business?
Can you just clarify, I think you said the 18th meeting, what our meetings are, I thought we were doing it earlier. Is
Oh,
it
wait,
4/11?
I think so.
It's the 4th and the 11th,
Okay.
yes.
4th and the 11th.
So we're not
all
meeting
right.
the 18th?
No, we are not
Okay.
on the 18th.
Thank you.
So we are tabling it to the 11th.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that just
Thank
gives
you.
that gives us a little
Okay.
bit of wiggle room to get a decision
Yeah.
on things.
Want to make sure I show up on the right night.
If anybody shows up on the wrong night, just blame me. All right, new business, please.
Yes, you all got my admin report 3 weeks ago. I mentioned that Representative Arvind Venkat's office had reached out to us regarding possibly sponsoring a grant application on behalf of North Hills Community Outreach. The grant program in question is the Commonwealth Financing Authority's statewide LSA program. It's open to municipalities, among other government entities, not nonprofits, for basically community improvement projects. It's basically for anything and everything under the sun that could improve the community. In the past, the North Hills Community Outreach wants to use this money to expand their senior shuttle program. They operate it in a litany of communities around the area, including Hampton. NHCO is obviously located in Hampton. I think they said they've done over 100,000 rides to this program. They're seeking $145,000 to purchase a third shuttle, replace a second shuttle they have. The third shuttle would expand their program. I know I included a narrative that lists all the communities that they currently serve with this. I spoke with representatives from the Commonwealth Financing Authority. They actually said that it's quite common that nonprofits partner with local governments, counties, councils of government to pursue funding through this program. They actually sent me a draft agreement that if this grant funding were awarded, that we would sign with NHCO, basically, where they're incurring all the cost, they're getting the reimbursement, the money we would just serve as essentially a pass-through. This would not commit the township to any funding for this project. We would not have to spend any time on this project or anything like that. And it would not be held against us for future grant applications through the LSA program. I mean, I can make the argument senior mobility is a big issue. I'm sure as anyone who's had aging parents, or I know my grandmother obviously can't drive anymore. I think it is a worthwhile program, but I'm willing to answer any questions anyone would have. If not, I would recommend passing this resolution. Again, we would simply serve as a pass-through for the money. I don't know if anyone has any objections, questions, comments, concerns.
I'll just
Yeah, go.
comment, only because, in fact, I don't think it's a conflict of interest, but my own organization is applying for an LSA grant, and we went through the exact process that North Hills Community Outreach did, and that is we found a municipal sponsor, closer to Pittsburgh, of course, and I'm familiar with the details, and I'm on the other side, but this is pretty standard practice, and this is how we can take advantage of those. The nonprofits can take advantage of the funds, and it's how agencies can improve their communities without actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great cause, township's just a vessel. Is there any negative, I'm just thinking it would be from a financial standpoint, like extra work, there's no risk.
Nope.
It's just money in, money out.
Yep.
You guys are both comfortable, Jerry
That didn't sound horribly confident.
It should be.
Okay.
The grant application for this, if you've seen it at all, Ms. Blackburn, it's a pretty simple grant.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it literally has 5 attachments and a narrative, and that's it.
Yeah, it's 1,000 words to make your case.
Yes.
It's actually very hard to make your case in 1,000 words.
and you said it doesn't impact any of our other, okay,
No.
I mean, it sounds like,
Mhm.
happy to be a part of it.
Okay. You have a resolution number?
1107.
And just to clarify, since this is not truly a financial matter, we do not need to make a motion to amend the agenda.
I still think you should make a motion to amend the agenda if you're actually gonna adopt a resolution. I think it's safer and cleaner.
Okay. Then can I get a motion to add the resolution for the LSA grant on behalf of the North Hills Community Outreach to the agenda for this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor?
Ms. Fritsch? Favor. Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Schuley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, and then can I get a motion authorizing the submission of the LSA grant on behalf of the North Hills Community Outreach for the manager's memo dated November 14th?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch? Favor. Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Shirley?
Favor.
Ms. Blackburn?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. And just to clarify, that was resolution number 1107.
Correct.
All right, anyone else have anything that they would like to add for new business? All right, then thank you everyone for coming this evening. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday, and we will see you next month. I will adjourn the meeting to an executive session during which no further decisions will be made.
A brief one, I promise.